Hey guys and girls, how's it going? I hope you guys are having a great week. So it is Game News Friday, guys. So I'm back with another video game related topic today, news topic. This one is actually related, of course, to Anthem. I have to talk about Anthem today. So suffice it to say, Anthem has had a very rocky release and very mixed, predominantly negative responses with very good reasons. It is an incredibly flawed game. There are some good points to the game, but there are a lot of glaring problems, a lot of technical issues, a lot of bugs, a lot of things that need resolving in the game. And I'm going to go into more detail on that in my Anthem review, which I am working on at the moment. I'm going to do a different style of review for this game because I think it deserves it. But that is coming, and I will talk more about that later on. But let's just say Anthem's launch has not been great. It certainly has not been what Bioware were hoping for, and it definitely hasn't been what EA were hoping for as well. EA have incredibly unrealistic expectations for Anthem. And there was a news article early on in February on the Games Industry Biz website, which was talking about the fact that EA was forecasting that Anthem in its first 6 weeks would sell roughly 6 million copies. That's what their target was, and that they were hoping to achieve that by the end of EA's fiscal year on March 31st. And that Andrew Wilson believed very strongly in the game, and he believed that the actual demo had been incredibly successful, despite the very well publicized technical issues that it did have. But Wilson told EA's investors that the demo resulted in, and I'm quoting here, people realizing it is a game that's unlike any other game they've ever played. And unfortunately, it seems to be, yes it is, but for all the wrong reasons. So firstly, the critical response to Anthem has not been great. There are massive glaring problems with that. On Metacritic at the moment, it's got an average critic score of 60 out of 100, and that's over 65 critics, and a user score of 4.5, a user score of 45%. Critics have been very mixed about it, obviously talking about some of the positives with it, but saying it is a predominantly flawed game. And I think a lot of these critical reviews have been quite fair and quite accurate with what they've been saying. But to top that all off, then we had some information actually UK based on how Anthem actually then performed in terms of sales. And while it did hit the #1 spot in the UK on its release day on the 22nd of February, and its official release day, not its early access release date, it hit the UK charts and it went to #1, and it has been at #1 for the last 3 weeks in the UK, surprisingly beating Metro Exodus, which is a fantastic game from what I hear, and also beating Far Cry New Dawn. But if we actually look at sales, they actually reveal a very worrying trend, that actually Anthem is massively failing in comparison to other games of a similar genre, so looter shooters. So in comparison to the first Destiny, when that came out, Anthem sales have been a very disappointing figure, and it has been sort of worked out that the game has sold within the ballpoint of about 10% of what the original Destiny actually sold. So if we're to sort of look at that, the original Destiny in its opening first week actually sold 417,000 copies in the UK. This information was provided by analyst Daniel Ahmad via the Reset Era forums. Goes by the code name ZHugeEX, and he basically said that Destiny sold 417,000 copies in the UK in its first week alone. So if we're saying that Anthem sold 10% of that number, then you'd be looking at those sales being about 40,000 copies. Now those are physical sales in the UK. We don't know about digital, of course, that has not been released, and obviously given EA and Origin access, there might be quite a few digital purchases, but that's based on physical sales in the UK. So it does not sound that Anthem has lived up to EA's expectations, and it's even underperformed in comparison to Destiny 2, which sold actually 175,000 copies in in the UK in the first week. Actually, if we even compare it to Andromeda, it seems to even have failed in comparison to Andromeda. So on Eurogamer, Tom Phillips on 25th of February released an article where he actually talked about Anthem's physical sales, and he actually said that the physical sales for Anthem are actually half that of Mass Effect Andromeda's. And given the way that EA actually responded to that and what they did to Bioware Montreal, sort of shutting them down and kind of merging them into EA Motive, it's a little concerning for the future of Bioware, I've got to say. So yeah, it heavily underperformed in comparison to Mass Effect Andromeda, not only in sales, with the sales being 50% less, but also in terms of its critical response as well. Mass Effect Andromeda actually sits on Metacritic with a average critical score of 72 and with a user score of 4.9. So Mass Effect Andromeda actually has a higher critical rate than does Anthem, with good reason, because Mass Effect Andromeda is a far superior game to Anthem. It wasn't a perfect game, it had its flaws, but Anthem is a very, very flawed game, and I'm actually happy the fact that this is being picked upon and this is being highlighted. But to make matters even worse, and this is really the final straw for Anthem, and I think this might actually be the nail in the coffin. Last week, over the week, there have been a couple of posts on Anthem's subreddit forums of gamers talking about the fact that the game was actually causing their PlayStation 4 to switch off, basically, to forcefully switch their PS4 off. So the PS4 would just crash, the game would crash, the PS4 would crash, and it would switch off like you had unplugged the PS4 from the mains. And what this resulted in is causing a lot of issues with people's PS4s and them not restarting properly and having to go through the whole sort of memory purge and kind of having to sort of, you know, kind of defragment and fix and repair the hard drive as a result of the console switching off very suddenly. But for some PS4 owners as well, it's actually bricked their console. So on the subreddit forums, there was one comment by a user called the Mad Titan Gauntlet, and he basically talked about the fact that, you know, no other game caused his PlayStation to randomly turn off while playing. His PS4 actually completely bricked to the point of not even turning on because of Anthem. And he basically said, you know, I'm not posting this to gain any sympathy or anything like that, but I do want to make people aware and warn people that this is a potentially console breaking game. Okay, now I can actually speak from experience that this is true. This has actually happened to Dante. We were playing Anthem together and his console completely switched off. He had the same problem, and we both played the game. We finished the main story and we've got up really to sort of the end game side of Anthem, and we're at the moment currently at level 28. The maximum level is level 30. We've started to get masterwork and legendary weapons and start to experience the end game and what that has to offer. And suddenly, you know, I've had problems, but suddenly Dante's console just completely shut down, and Dante rightly has decided he's not going to play Anthem anymore until this issue has been fixed by EA or Bioware, because it's a huge risk, and I'm not willing to risk the safety of my PlayStation 4. I don't have the money to be able to buy a new PlayStation 4, and I shouldn't have to. A lot of PlayStation owners have been asking Sony to refund the cost of the game digitally that they purchased, and Sony have actually issued several refunds for Anthem. But it seems that Bioware and EA are actually aware of this issue, because this morning EA did actually post on their Twitter a sort of a call out to Anthem players, and in this statement they basically said, we're aware of a crashing issue some of you have been reporting for Anthem. We're investigating and ask that you share your crash data reports when prompted. If you have, we'll be reaching out to gather info. If not, please reply to this thread, and then it gives you a direct link to their website. And if you go through this site, this link, there are so many gamers, so many Anthem players that are reporting this bug, this issue, and it is a massive, massive problem. And I've got to say, no game should be able to break your console. Anthem is so broken in so many fundamental ways, and there are so many problems and issues with its performance and its stability, let alone things to do with its end game and things to do with its story content and its game design. The performance of this game is so shocking. The servers, the bugs, all the issues that we've had. Dante's had some issues with achievements that haven't pinged for him, and he's really frustrated because Dante likes to platinum games. He likes to get 100% completions in games. That's kind of one of his things. So he's really, really irritated and really frustrated by this. And it's kind of hindering his enjoyment of playing the game. And there are so many problems with Anthem. And I'm getting angrier and angrier and angrier as I record this, because part of me is angry. Part of me was kind of expecting this, because I already had sort of feelings that there were problems with the game before it even came out. This is EA, this is Bioware. I've never done an online looter shooter game, but I'm a massive Bioware fan, and they're the reason I became a gamer. They're the reason I became a YouTuber. So I wanted to see what they had to offer. I was hoping that they would prove me wrong. I was hoping that the game would be great, and I am so heartbroken over the quality of this game, and I am in such shock that Bioware could release a game in such a state. I'm not surprised at EA, because you know, EA have kind of got a reputation now, and we kind of expect this sort of BS from them. But even for them to release a game in this kind of state is just absolutely shocking. So yeah, now Anthem is bricking PS4s. That's the latest news that's hitting, combined with all the other bugs and issues that we've got. I've got to say, Anthem has some serious problems. I honestly don't know how Bioware are going to fix the game. They've already released 3 massive updates, 3 massive patches. Day 1, I think, had like a 5.6 gigabyte patch. Day 2 then had a 10 gigabyte patch, and then about a week into the game, it then had another 3 or 4 gigabyte patch. So it's had a massive patches already, and it still failed to fix all of these issues and all of these bugs. The game is broken, in my opinion. And I think with the Division 2 coming shortly in the future, a lot of the player base that they have that are looter shooter fans and like that kind of genre, they're going to move on. They're going to move on to the Division 2. There isn't enough new content coming in Anthem. New content, really big content, isn't really coming until May with the Cataclysms in their 90-day plan. I just don't know how Bioware are going to fix it, and yeah, I'm worried for their future, and I am heavily concerned about what it will mean for Dragon Age 4. And also the next Mass Effect. I'm very concerned about it. But I'm not going to talk too much about that information in this video, because I'm going to talk about that in my review. Now, the review I'm going to do, I'm not going to write a script for it. I already know what I want to say. I've already been writing down my thoughts and opinions as I've been going through it. I've been frequently talking to Dante about this together, and we've decided we're just going to record a from the heart talk about it with some gameplay footage to really talk about, you know, what my concerns are with the game and what I think about it, because I want it to come from the heart, because it's Bioware, and I feel that it kind of deserves a full and frank and honest review, and that is going to be coming, so please look forward to that anyway. We're planning to hopefully record it over the weekend, so I'm hoping to bring that to you guys next week, so please look forward to it. But let me know what you guys think of this news in the comment section below. Have you played Anthem? What has your experience been? What do you guys think of the responses to Anthem? What do you think about the sales, the issues, the problems that it's had, and particularly what do you think about this latest problem that it's got with actually causing PlayStation 4s to brick? Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts. I hope you guys found this video interesting and informative. If you did, please of course hit the like button as always to show your support. Please comment below, please share, and of course please subscribe for more content in the future, and don't forget to ring that bell so that you always know when new videos are uploaded. Anyway, hope you guys guys have a great week. Of course, take care. And as always, happy gaming. Bye, guys.